Well, hello and welcome to today's show. I have a 12th gen processor in this LGA 1700 based Z90 birthing person board that was said to be Thunderbolt ready when I bought it. The time I bought this particular board, although the processor and the design was 3 years old, they were still current production. And we put it in, we've been running it, been fairly happy, but we would like to have some Thunderbolt on it or some USB 4. And to that end, we found out that despite having that little 5-pin header, there was no such thing as like a 5-pin header and the little metal bracket that goes in the back of your case with your USB-C connector on it. It was nothing like a connector on the end of that plate with a wire that you plug into the main board. It was some expensive $100 board and not real clear what you would actually do with it. That did not work, so we ended up going with USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. That gives you 2 pathways on a USB-C type of connector, 2 pathways, each at 10 gigabits per second. That's faster than what I had in any of the other ports, so we went ahead and put a generic Chinese Amazon board in the computer, and we didn't have any sketchy drivers we had to put in like the advertisement was sort of suggesting, for different models on Amazon. And it works pretty well. We tested it with 2 different types of cables. We'll show you that. We'll do some crystal disc marks so you can see if it makes any difference. I'm using that built up external drive that's supposed to be good for Thunderbolt 4, USB 4. We'll look at that. Let's get her going. Well, here I am with the interim machine we built up. It actually works pretty well. 12th generation i7 in it. Could have gone 13 or 14. But we see we have just kind of a basic MATX, I think is what that is. We have a couple of spots which are in use, so to speak. But anyway, we've got a little video card. That's a 3060, nothing special. I forget who makes that. You can see right there, thermal, right? Thermal tape on some of the fans we replaced. Old case, hate the case, but it does have this right here, an ability to have a drive base. So when I get around to ripping and stripping down my old videos and putting them on the server, we'll need to find some software to work with it. So if you find some and you know what good software to use to rip Blu-rays and DVDs, let me know, because I'd like to put them on the server. Now, the problem for this case, let me slip around here to this terrible looking desk, is you see right here, there's just not enough space. Let me move my little antennae out of the way, and maybe you can see it. The rear I/O, the whole board is shoved so far up into the case that it's really a dimensional impossibility to put any kind of a cooler right across the top where it looks like it's made for it. And then of course we have the board is just too high. So it's a crappy case for that, but it does work with big air cooler in there, and it's just what it is. I think it's probably the reason why it was built such a cheap, although I paid $2,000 for it about 8 years ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a new card here. I'll tell you what this does. We'll look at the box real briefly. All right, nothing exciting. It's Chinese. On this side, another Chinese thing. On this, whatever this card was, it was about 30 bucks. It is as you can see, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, 20 gigabits per second card. Takes a 4-bit PCIe slot, and of course we use that in the 16, so it does work. I don't really need to bifurcate because I can't use those other lanes anyway. But you see right above the 16 slot, you see that little 5-pin connector? Well, that's what ASRock said was a Thunderbolt 4, I think it is, ready connection. And so I look for something like these little guys here, that would just come here and go home out on the main board somewhere. But that's not the case. Not the case at all. Same thing with this Type C that I have right here. It will do that, but it homes out on the case. Well, unfortunately, the boards for that don't really seem to do what we thought they would do. They're made to wrap the video card input to one of the, or the output to the input of the card and do some strange stuff. And it did give you 4, but it's about $100 for what? Ugh, just for a little more speed. Now this is probably less bandwidth per buck, being as it's only a single, and I did print that little cheesy label up, 20 gigabytes there because it's a USB Gen 2 by 2. And so that 20 gigabits on that one connection because there's 2 of them, one on the top, one on the bottom. It does require this extra power apparently. This is the SATA connection, and I did have to buy a little adapter length because my SATAs are only one cable on this cheap power supply. This, what is this? Is Thermaltake Smart Series. Yeah, I just couldn't get a cable to it to power it and still hit these down here because occasionally I will use the SATA drives. And here's an older one that I keep in the box for backups and configurations because I don't have a test rig. So anyway, yeah, there we go. It goes just right in that 16-bit slot, and we're going to put it on. It said in the Amazon advertisement, it said you need to download this driver, but I'm running the last generation of Windows 10 on this computer, and it didn't need to. It came up naturally, so there's nothing hinky there, and it is twice as fast as what I could produce before. The computer's up and running, and we have our little mollygogged, our little external drive. Now this will do Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4. We're going to go see what it actually will do. Yeah, we're just going to use Crystal Disk Mart. Well, let's go look to see if we need to install the driver for this. We're going to do it by going over to the left-hand panel. I'm going to go ahead and click my little icon I have set up for my control panel. I want to bring the device manager. Here we have it. We're going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to have to slide my open panel. It just opened over to the left from the center. And what we want to do is we want to slide down here until we see the USB controllers. You see USB controllers right there? Let me zoom in a little bit closer for you. See, there we have the USB serial bus controller. We'll click it. We want to expand it if it will actually do what I want it to. And what we're looking for is we're looking for this extensible host controller. This AS Media USB extensible host controller, and we have another one down here, a second one. So from what I understand, that's the one we need. And if we looked on the Amazon, when we looked at some of these boards, a couple of them would say, you need to go get this, download, kindly load this driver. And if you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell. A couple of them would say, you need to go get this, download, kindly load this driver. And I didn't go download that driver, and I'm running Windows 10 before the death date, Windows 10 23H2. So it is the latest Windows 10, but I didn't have to go out and get that particular driver. Well, what do you say we give this a test and see how it goes? Well, here we are. We've got our setup going. This is Crystal Disk Mart 805 by 64, and we have our G drive loaded. We just looked at it. Let's go ahead and tell it to go and see what it does. Now, it's supposed to be, in theory, 20 gigabits per second maximum, and we're on a 40 gigabits capable drive. We're going to see what it does in total. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rerun the same exact test, but we've got high-speed stuff for Thunderbolt. We only have 3.2.2, and I don't know that that standard USB cable is doing a job it's supposed to. Is it making up for the 2 lanes? So that's what we're going to test right now when I hit this go button. We'll see if it's any faster. Well, what do you know? Using a more expensive, I would dare say quality cable makes a heck of a difference on the throughput of that little card. Would you have believed that the cable would have made that much difference? I don't know. (2043 megabits per second).
2043 megabytes per second is equivalent to 16.344 gigabits per second.
Now I want to put the slide up here. I want you to look at this. Now you'll notice this $9 price is a special cable, supposedly able to do the 8K and the USB 4. It's a little thicker cable, a little jacketed better. It's special for it. I gave about $10 for the first one. When I went back about 60 days later to buy a second one for the other computer, the one we're doing today, we found out that they were up to about $17. So it was $10, special $18 or whatever it is. And you see they were going to be generous and sell it to me for like 14 and change or whatever it was. So I found one that looked just like it, same length, 1 meter length, just like the other one, same ends on both ends, same spec. So I saved a few dollars off of it, but the prices definitely went up between May and the end of July, which we're taping this. Well, there it is, another tremendously long video, which may be very helpful if it's got a few hanging spots for you guys on it. But yeah, we could have probably cut it short, just showed you the box and plug it in and then showing it work and doing the crystal disc mark. But if you're interested in something like this, or you got a little older computer or whatever, maybe sometimes these longer, more explicated videos that I do are helpful to you. If they are, let me know. Tell me that they work. Send me to your friends. Do the click like and subscribe bit. Hit the notification bell wherever you see me. Just share me around if you would. Help me build my channel. Thank you. Appreciate you.